JLB is one of those people, a bit like Tim Osman, where he constantly moans about flat earthers and flat earth in general and how silly it is, while simultaneously saying, you know, nobody should be looking at it, and paraphrasing him. Obviously, these aren't quotes, but ultimately he's kind of talking about flat earth while saying flat earth is stupid, so he's kind of addicted to it in that way. Anyway, I've watched his video this morning that knocks some of the people who have criticised the higher side chats for chatting with JLB at all, which, perfectly honest, I agree with JLB on that score. You know, everyone's entitled to believe whatever the hell they choose. However, JLB, who I've got a lot of respect for and have learned a huge amount of information from JLB, specifically in regards to logical fallacies. So my first introduction to how they were formulated into a debate was from JLB. I'll give him all credit for it. However, as is always the case, nobody's infallible, and John has fallen into a bit of a trap. He has used a presuppositional argument. So, the argument he has used is called affirming the consequent. So I'll give you a quick example, or the structure. If P, then Q. Q, therefore P. A simplified example would be, if I drink 10 beers, P, then I am full. Q. I am full, Q. Therefore, I just drank 10 beers. P. So, the logical fallacy being that one doesn't necessarily follow the other. You are affirming the consequent. So, the formal logical fallacy has been used by John Le Bon for the Southern Stars. So he didn't recognise that he kept using the word hemisphere, presupposing that he's on a sphere, when he presents the argument that if we are on a sphere, P, then we will see southern rotation on the southern hemisphere, Q. We see southern rotation in the southern hemisphere, because of course we already know we're on a sphere, right? This is proof of a sphere, but we already know. Therefore we're on a sphere. Classic formal logical fallacy. So John Le Bon, sorry buddy, but your proof that you're clutching to that we're on a sphere is a formal logical fallacy. If P, then Q, Q, therefore P. The one doesn't necessarily follow the other. But you've got a presupposition of a sphere inserted in there, hence your use of the word hemisphere. So for all your japing and joking about Dearth or whoever proving it and saying that they would obfuscate the point, maybe you can answer me my question. Why would it be the case that when using a proof of a sphere that you would presuppose you're on a sphere? That's called begging the question, John. Surely you would understand this formal logical fallacy. That is all.
I do have one other thing that I want to present. It's the biggest hypocritical statement ever. And Ranty's just sent it to me now in the last 10 minutes, and it's absolutely glorious. What's the main reason, in your opinion, Nathan? Now, bear in mind that Nathan's opinion may not necessarily be the actual reason, but what's the main reason, as far as you're concerned, why Red's Rhetoric won't click the link and join the panel?
He's scared shitless.
Because...
Why is he scared shitless? Because we will demolish his argument with 1 or 2 questions. So if Red's Rhetoric was to come in now, the first question I would ask would probably be the same as I asked to Conspiracy Cats. That's now, what, 2 weeks old? The saga continues, no answer, no explanation, thinks he can defy the second law of thermodynamics. Well, I'd ask Red the same question. So, Red, you think we're going to space, right? We're leaving Earth's atmosphere along with the gas? Yeah? Space rockets going out into space? So definitely an open system that we're in. Right, okay. So, how do we have gas pressure without a container? If we've got gas pressure, the necessary antecedent would be a container. So that makes no sense.
I'm going to have to drop and jump back in on Skype so that the sound passes through. So just answer the call and I'll rejoin on Skype, yeah?
No worries. So yes, that would be the first question that Red's Rhetoric got answered. And it would probably end there because he'd have no answer. He'd just have a logical fallacy.
I don't think that guy's ever going to come in here.
Hello.
I don't think he's going to come back in now that we have this glorious little clip. So courtesy of Ranty, you spotted this one. I think this is it a Sly Sparkane hangout or is it a Red's Rhetoric one?
It was a Sly Sparkane one.
All right. So, did it happen yesterday or today? It must have been last night.
Last night. Yeah.
Right. So, Slide's channel last night, 20 odd minutes in. Listen to this glorious statement from Red's Rhetoric. The context is he's talking generally about debating with flat earthers. Now, he's not talking specifically about Nathan, who he knows is going to kick his ass. He's talking about generally people that are quite new to the topic, haven't really found the feet, haven't really got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted, and he's looking for the easy one, the easy target. So it's not specifically Nathan, but it is flat Earth in general. Listen to this glorious nugget of information.
That way we can actually make this happen. My thing is that I want to have more debates with flat earthers just in general, not between myself and flat earthers, just have more debates in general, whether I'm participating in it or not. The reason is because they show how weak their position is in that type of setting, where where their feet are placed right next to fire and be like, hey, if you don't want to get pushed in, start giving me some evidence. Oh, you don't have any evidence? Yeah, this is the part where your flesh starts burning.
So in the context of burning flesh and being pushed into the fire, let's remind ourselves of the position that Reds finds himself in. Nath, do you want to remind people the position that Reds finds himself in right now with this very hypocritical statement?
In regards to him wanting to join debates?
Well, the evidence part of it, he cites that the reason why he wants to have more debates, or not he personally, but in general, the ballers should have more debates. Bear in mind, there's a debate show twice a day, guys. You can come in at any time. He's presenting now the idea that there should be more debates with flat earthers because, in his opinion, we don't have any evidence. Let's think about who the one that's making the assertions is, or are. Is it the flat earthers that are questioning your evidence for the model that you tell everybody's true? Or is it us that's telling people that we live on a flat plane and we can prove it? Which way round is it? Who's making the assertions and who's the one that's got the evidential burden and has no evidence for it? So let's remind Reds of his position. There's a link every single day, Reds. You're invited to join and you are expected at some point to have the conversation about the environment in which we live in. You're the one with the assertion and all the body of science that supports you. We're asking for the evidence that supports the position. And currently the one that's on the table is how we've got a gas pressure if we don't live inside a container. Entropy's a bit of a bitch. So who's the one with or without the evidence, and how are you going to get around this? Because it appears, in my opinion, that this is slightly hypocritical and you're telling all your, or Sly's subs in this case, that we don't have any evidence, yet you're the one that won't join the panel that's there every single day and you've been invited many, many times because you haven't got any evidence to support your position. Yet you're the one that's criticising us for not having evidence. Yeah, good job, dude. Good job.
Maybe I can ask Red a question. What's your scientific evidence for Earth radius? In fact, you can pick any of the questions we ask at the beginning of almost every single show, and Red won't have a decent answer for any of them. I absolutely guarantee it.
Well, let's just hear the key line again.
Where their feet are placed right next to fire and be like, hey, if you don't want to get pushed in, start giving me some evidence. Oh, you don't have any evidence?
Oh, let's just play that little bit again there.
Start giving me some evidence. Oh, you didn't. Start giving me some evidence. Start giving me some evidence.
Yeah, who's the one with the evidential burden? Us or you? You're the one that claims that we live on a spinning testicle, and we're saying, can you prove it? And so far, the evidence that comes back from your guys, CGI, man. You have no evidence, guys. You can't prove any part of your real basic part of your model. Yeah, you can prove rockets this or laser spectrum analysis on that. Who cares? Show it's a sphere. Show it's got curve. Show it spins. Show there's a radius. Show any part of the housekeeping. Let's see the evidence, Reds. Come on.
Red's already given away his biggest tell. His biggest fear is R.
Yeah.
So, in R you trust Red's rhetoric, you have no scientific evidence to back your assertion that you live on a spinning sphere. That's why you won't come in here, because you know you'll get ripped a new one very rapidly.
That actually.
Say again?
I actually thought it was quite funny when he said about toast being held to the fire and skin burning off. I mean, where have I heard that before?
Well, no, that's something that Reds has picked up from me. So basically, it's a backhanded compliment if you imitate somebody. So in order to entice Red to the debate, I blatantly stole Dumb Fuck of the Year. Same exact principle. You just backhanded compliment them, and then, you know, if you're an idiot, you fall for it hook, line and sinker like Red did. Now he's trying to use that against me. It's like, well, you can keep using my version of a backhanded compliment. That's fine. You know, one of the reasons I know some of his responses or his fears is because he comes in and chats as, I think it's Nathan is my bitch. Again, you know, I've called Red's Rhetoric my bitch. That backhanded compliment won't work on me, Red. You know, I'm still going to give you your 2 options. So I don't know if at some point, you know, we're going to have to concede that Reds has taken option 2, because his options are only twofold. After saying he wants debates, after specifically saying he wants to debate me, he's then got 2 options. Join the debate, face me, or piss off. So it seems like option 2 is what he's going to take.